And we have
Reporting live with Dawn Reese. We are in Hollywood, Florida. Hello, Dawn. How are you today?
I'm doing fabulous, and you just had a photo shoot.
Yes, I did, and thank you for asking.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being on our show.
I know.
Okay.
That's
now,
right.
Dawn, let me ask you a question. It's been picking at my brain all night. How was it to interview Michael Jackson's father? That must have been some emotional feelings for you.
Well, you know what? Actually, I was in Palm Springs, and this was a while ago, and I was winning. I had, I like to play a little nickel keno once in a while, but I was winning like $75. And of course, Mr. Murray, photographer of the stars, he's the one that introduced me to him. And I said, I'm winning. He goes, you need an interview with Joe. I said, I'm winning. Long story short, I got to meet Joe. Joe invited me to his home in Encino. And it was kind of great to see where Michael grew up with the giraffes, and his brother walks in. That was phenomenal. But I will say, Paul Murray, back in the back room here, he introduced me to the late James Brown. And I think for me, to get hooked up with the Brown family, and Mr. Brown opened a lot of doors for me. It took me 3 years to prove myself. So you say, how does this little white girl get into the Brown family? It's all God. And I'll tell you, a lot of doors just open up, and you can do your part, but it's God's timing and where you're going to be and who you're going to meet to get you where you're supposed to be.
Well, Dawn, I have to totally agree with you on that. It's definitely God's will and what He provides and wants for us to have.
Right.
I'm really thrilled. I hear you're going to be meeting with the director of Paramount Pictures. How was that going to be for you?
Well, Robert Evans, actually we did. We were at the Palm Beach Film Festival, and I got to interview Mr. Evans, and it was phenomenal. It's up on my Facebook wall, and Mr. Evans said, get out there, you young kids, get your films, and get them into the film festivals. The great thing, we were on the Palm Beach Post together the next day, and now he takes my phone calls. It's funny. I go, okay, Mr. Evans, it's Dawn Reese. Also it was kind of funny, too, is Tristan Rogers from General Hospital.
Right.
He had called me personally after the interview, and he said, I love the interview you did. Can you tag it to YouTube? I'm like, who is this? Tristan? Oh, okay, not your publicist? You just don't know what surprises God has in store for you.
Of course. And I have to always ask this on all my interviews. I do apologize, Dawn.
Really good.
But do you have anyone in your life at this moment? Because you are a beautiful young woman, and I can't imagine you being alone. Is there anyone sharing the love with you?
I'm going to send this to my boyfriend that's on the road. Actually, he's on his way to Denver right now, and I've been living on his 38-foot Endeavor boat with 2 dogs the last year. It was a lot of fun. It was like Captain Ron, the boat life.
Wow.
We had dolphins and manatees. But the funny thing is, I do have a quick story to tell you. This is very funny. I went to church with his mom, and I'll send her this tape. But we had a priest that looked at me. It was a Catholic church I went back to, and he said, the message today is get out of the boat. And I said, get out of the boat. I looked at his mom. I said, he's talking to me. She goes, I know. And she goes, and he's looking at me. I don't even know this priest because it's my second time at this church. And he goes, get out of the boat, walk in faith. And he said, otherwise you're going to sink and whatever. Anyways, I'm living on the boat. So I look at her and I'm like, I'm going to leave. And I'm going to get off the boat. The next day, I found out my apartment that I subleased was open. So I got to move back in my apartment. And it's kind of funny how God just works. But that was a message from the priest that was looking at me saying, get out of the boat.
Oh, boy. Wow. It's funny. God does work in mysterious ways.
Right.
We want to thank you once again for coming on our show.
Thank you. And
we wish you the best of luck.
That's right. Now, if you had a segment on our show for Home Team Network for, being a beauty queen as Miss Diva Hollywood, if we select you, what would your segment be? What would you have an idea? Anything comes to mind?
Yes, actually a lot of things come to mind, but the very first thing that comes to mind is I would like to reach out to the younger generation who struggle with addiction, alcohol, and drugs.
Very, very important. I know what you're saying, and that's really a great message because we're in the schools, and that would also help. Because our title holders, we have something called Be Cool, Stay in School. And we have Shaq and Ludacris and many stars as well, which I'll send you some show clips. But you're in the schools, and you're actually a role model to help people. And I'm in the schools. I'm going back in. So if you are selected, you'll be with me as well. And we'll talk to the kids about your platform and introduce you, and if you are selected. So that's what we do, and I think that's amazing. And more kids need to hear about it, too. Very inspirational.
So, yes. Considering I did lose my sister, 7 years ago to drugs.
Okay.
It was very heartbreaking, but I would love to give out and reach out to all the kids and children and even adults.
That's a very inspirational message because you've already been through that, and you can teach other people before that would happen. And I think that also being a title holder, I'm going to say, if you are selected, it would be an amazing part, an opportunity as a role model because more people don't realize the warning signs of it. And that would be a good show segment also. I really believe that you could actually do a lot of help with a lot of ladies that are out there, or kids and teenagers as well. And men out there. It's a lot, not just the women.
That's right.
I agree.
Well, we want to thank you very much.
Can I get a hug? Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.